YouTube? I finally have done it. This is attempt number 10, roughly. I don't know, I quit counting after about 5 screw-ups. This is attempt number 10, I think, for getting the steering working on the rat rod. As you can see, I've had to take the thing almost apart. I sat down the night with another idea, 2 tries at it, and this is where I ended up. So I'm hoping we can get this thing running by the end of the video. Hoping. Alright guys, so let me show you the way that worked. Since I've failed so many times with this. What I've done, I already had these holes drilled through my front axle. This is a tiny little servo. It doesn't have enough torque really for steering. It's the only one I have that size. I will be looking into upgrading it, but that size I doubt I'm going to find more than maybe 10 or 15 ounces of torque. I think this one had 9. So steering is going to be sluggish and hopefully look scale. This rig has never been about performance, it's been about appearance. Other than the suspension, which is ridiculous, but it's not going to be, I mean, I can't go race it, it's not a crawler, it's just, you know, it's more of a, for me it's more like a piece of art. It's just testing my abilities, seeing what I can create, and I just want it to run. I just want it to be able to drive it so that it actually functions. I'm not looking for, you know, I'm not going to try to take it on a short course track or anything stupid. It's just, I want it to run. I want it to turn and steer, stop and go, and look cool as hell. So that little servo, I used the existing holes and I made some aluminum brackets, mounted it just on top of the axle, and it gives me just enough clearance. It does not hit the cross beam for the cantilever shock mount. And I've just tied one end. I have reinforced this tiny little servo horn with another piece of a tiny little servo horn. That's going to be something that's going to need to be addressed later as well, because I've got a feeling if I hit something hard on one side, it's just going to snap that little thing off. But yeah, I've got one link going to one side, and I've got my tie rod on the front. So that's what I've done on the steering. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the motor, which I'll show you next. Alright, so I've got my new motor installed. I didn't think about that when I used that old can motor I had. When I put it in, I was just thinking I'll just use this for a mock-up since it's the right size, because I can't run a full can. It has to be the short can with the exposed brushes. Now I've never wanted to do brushless on this. I don't want it too fast. I don't want to tear it up while I'm driving it. So what I've opted for here is just a axial 35 turn Trail King or something motor. It's just a cheap motor that I picked up at my hobby town yesterday. I posted some pictures on Instagram about that. I took this up here and up there and trying to show it off a little bit, and got some stuff for this. So it's not going to be fast. I don't need it to be lightning fast, but just needed a short can. There wasn't a whole lot of options with that, since they mostly specialize in you know, most hobby shops, it's Traxxas all the way. At least it is down here in Texas, because Traxxas is local. So every hobby shop is just stocked to the gills with Traxxas trucks and parts and everything. So I think the only other option I had was about a 9-turn brushed motor. I really didn't want to go that fast. So I went with this. I went with the familiar entity. It's kind of the theme with all this, all crawler stuff, just reinvented for another purpose. So it's not gonna be fast. I had them go ahead and solder on some long leads, because I don't know yet where my electronics are gonna go. I was looking at some ESCs. The only thing they had that would fit where ideally I wanted to put it under the seat. They had a 1/18 scale Castle Mamba, my bad. Castle Mamba, I'm telling from Texas. Comes out every now and then. But it was one of their 1/18 scale Castle ESCs, and I'd say it was like $80. Everything's a little high at a hobby shop, but you know, it's good to have the place to go in a pinch when you need some parts. But I wasn't sure about it. The guy wasn't real confident that it would handle a 10th scale rig. Being this is brushed and it's not going to be real high power, it probably would have been fine. But let me know what y'all think. I'm not an electronics expert at all. That's the least favorite part of the hobby for me, is dealing with the electrics. And anybody's got any recommendations for a small, compact, brushed ESC, send me some links. Let me know what's out there, because I'm still going to be looking for one. I think what I'm going to use right now, I've got an old RC 4-wheel drive Outcry with the external BEC. Thing's a monster. I don't think there's anywhere on the rig I can hide it, short of maybe under the hood, like mount it to the hood from the inside, but I really don't want to use that. I'd rather have something concealable. I did go ahead and pick up another 2-channel Spektrum receiver, nice and small. Hopefully that'll fit under the seat. Just got to wait and see where everything is going to reach. What else did I get? I did go ahead and pick up another battery, another stick pack. I'm not using LiPos ever. I don't know why. I don't like change. It's a little 1600 milliamp 6-cell. My plan for this is going to be back here. I'm going to make a tray fit right across there and mount it. And that also fits with my plan for having an ESC under the seat. Yeah, I had to buy an adapter for the Traxxas plug. To me, a plug's another stubborn thing I don't want to change. I did spin big on the Savox servo, but it didn't work out the way I was thinking it was going to mount, so we'll just put that in the parts bin and save it for something else. So I had one of those a while ago, and I needed it for something else, and then I didn't have it because I'd sold it on eBay, and so I'm just going to hang on to that one, and maybe one day we'll use it again. So it's kind of a neat look in here. You can see the motor mounts. This will focus. Oh, let me manually focus. There we go. So I've got the RC 4-wheel drive motor mounts with the motor plate. They mount right there. And then I've got this cross member that it sets on, and it bolts from the top. So I'm just got to line up my drive line, which I can get to from the bottom, and slide it through. Bolt it here. These are a little tricky to get to. I didn't think this through when I put my floorboard panels in. That's where the motor mount, and they have to mount from this side. So I did have to do a little trimming here to get to the bottom screw, and I bent it a little bit, which I'll have to put back. But that's part of all the fun, doing something different, doing something from scratch. There's no kit, there's no instructions, it's just making it up as you go. So yep, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this all lined up. And I got some really long leads on here, so hopefully it'll reach to where I need it to once I figure out where that is. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do this off camera because this is a tedious mess. Alright guys, so I got the motor in. I've run my motor wires out of the way of the suspension as best I can up the frame rail. I notched my cross member here so they don't stick down, and up to where under the seat hopefully my ESC will be. This side I had to put a jumper. The only one I had was a dual plug, so for now that's just kind of there unless I end up doing a functional steering wheel, but I don't know, I haven't even found a wheel yet. So it's routed from the front axle up the radius arm. You will be able to see the zip ties. It is whatever. Just can't have a rat rod without zip ties. And then I cut another notch over here and routed it up there as well. So now I'm going to flip it over and start looking at where I'm going to put everything, and hopefully we can take it for a test drive. Alright guys, so I ended up having to swap to an Axial AE2. I pulled one of the connectors off that RC 4-wheel drive speed controller. I not have the patience left after the steering to get that working. And the new battery I bought, the small one, it is not charged enough to test run. That full-size battery I have laying in there might actually fit where I was going to put the other one. I think I'll have to take the body back off. I'm going to have to make some kind of mount for it. It needs to go on the other side of the cantilever. That's just a full-size stick pack. So for the test run, we're just going to do it like this. Let's see if I can show you in there better. So I've just got everything sitting on the floor right now. If you remember, the seat comes all the way to the back of the transmission, so my receiver should be fine where it is. The way I routed everything, I should have done it the other way. I don't know why I wanted the steering to be on the driver's side. Hindsight, it should have flipped. That way there's plenty of room for the receiver over there with the suspension link, and this has got a lot more space for that ESC. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to run it like it is. Got everything, got bound my new receiver, got it programmed in, I think. Model name, Rat Rod. It'll focus. So let's turn this thing on. If I can't get to the on button. Ooh, that servo's not gonna last very long. Pretty glitchy. Let me turn it here. I don't know how much charge that battery's got on it either, so well, need something taller than that. Gonna try to adjust the steering. It's the problem with these little servos, they just don't have the torque. It's all plastic geared. It's working fine as long as there's not weight on it. May not be able to turn unless we're moving. It's kind of like having a car with no power steering, like my 58. So I'm going to take this thing in the living room, shoot a little quick run around video, see what breaks. That went about as well as to be expected. I apparently have already stripped out gears on the servo. And this thing's a burnout machine on the gravel. So a few things still to work out. I've got to find a stronger micro servo, much stronger, maybe at least just a metal geared micro servo. When it worked, it worked. It's just the little teeth on there couldn't handle the pressure of those tires. Couldn't handle all the resistance, but maybe a steel geared servo that size could do the job. So I'm going to do some research there. Speed is a little slow. It'll do burnouts all day long on the gravel. I lost steering before I had a chance to get it in the dirt. I did have to swap out batteries. I don't even know how charged this is. I had a 3000 in it. I swapped it out for this 5 out of one of my crawlers. So that's where we're at, guys. It's a big step. It's kind of bittersweet. It's nice to finally get to drive it, but it broke more stuff, and we still can't hide the electronics under the seat and all that yet. So any suggestions on this, on a smaller ESC and a metal geared micro servo, comment below or hit me up on Facebook. And yep. Oh, I still got to work out something to hold the hood shut. That was giving me some problems while I was driving, so got to get me a hot glue gun again. Mount some rare earth magnets on there. That's what I think I'll do with that. But anyways, thank you guys for following along. We still got a little ways to go on the build, but another big hurdle passed. Now we can start thinking ahead again. So please like, subscribe, and share. Follow along on Instagram, and I've got photo album on Flickr. It's flickr.com/strangely_different. And Instagram's RC Everyday, and you can find me on Facebook. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.